All right, well, good evening and welcome to our mentorship call. As usual, I'm excited to be here and glad that you guys who took the time to be here are here. I'm sure that there may be some others chiming in from parts of the world, but I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States of America. It's good to be on U.S. soil. Go ahead and make sure everybody is muted. If you're not sure if you're muted, mute yourself. We'll mute all lines again. Okay, do appreciate it. Okay. All right. Okay, Jerry, your line isn't muted. I don't know why it's not muting, but you might want to mute on your side. Okay, well, thank you guys. We appreciate everyone being here. It's the last day of the month of April. April went by real fast. I know. I'm not even sure what happened to April, but May is tomorrow. So that means in everyone's business, we start a brand new month, starting things off absolutely right. And what we're going to talk about is tonight is a topic that's near and dear to me, near and dear to my heart. Absolutely love when we have a chance to talk about leadership. And for those of you who may not be aware, I subscribe to the philosophies and the principles of John C. Maxwell, who is what I would consider the leadership guru. He is the preeminent, in my opinion, of course, expert and foremost teacher, I consider, in the areas of leadership. If you haven't had a chance to read any of John Maxwell's books, I do encourage you to do so. But tonight, we're going to spend some time talking about how to become a better leader. Now, guys, please, it's very interactive. I love it when we're interactive because, you see, this is for you, as we always talk about. I'm always interested if just one person can benefit from the information that is being shared. So this is really for you. So if there are areas that you are searching for advancement, because I do my best to pay attention to the chat during these sessions, it is to your advantage to interact and to share and to communicate with me so that I'll know how best to deliver the message to you. But even if you don't, it's okay, because I have got 10 points that I'm going to touch on tonight that's going to knock your socks off. And, I want you to really just pay close attention, take some good, copious notes, because, it's interesting. I was talking to a young man today. I guess it's kind of interesting. We're in an age of social media and this age of technology that we actually weren't talking, okay? So when I say we were talking, we weren't really talking. What was going on is that I text him as a response to his text, and then he did a voice note to me. So I kind of guess I consider that talking, but in his minute and a half discussion, he was telling me about, his 14 years in the industry, and things are now beginning to happen. Now, let's go ahead and see if you guys are just here. I'm not sure who's chimed in, how many people chiming in, and who's adding to this whole group. But tonight's topic is about becoming a better leader. But this young man got to telling me about the 14 years that he's been in this industry and how it's just beginning to kick in for him. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but 14 years is a long time, right? Would anybody agree? Do I need to go to the gallery, or can I just take the couple of people that I can see right now with the head nods and the thumbs up that you agree 14 years in a particular discipline, in a particular arena without having the real success that you wanted to is a long time. Would you agree? Yes? Is that a yes from you guys? Awesome. Great. But here's the interesting thing. I've known him for probably 10 of those 14 years. And one of the things I always like to tell people, and they don't always get it. All right, you ready? Okay, everybody ready? Your hands up, you ready? Brace yourself. Here we go. Here we go. You better get ready. Meaning that it doesn't matter if it happens in 14 years or in 14 months, in 14 weeks. You have to be ready. You have to be prepared in terms of leadership. You can't wait until the group comes to master the tenets of leadership. Is that okay with anybody? I want to make sure that those that are with me here tonight are staying on point or in attention with me on that. You cannot wait until they come to start saying, oh, well, now I have a team. I better become a better leader. You have to really be preparing in advance, because the truth is you just never know. And what was so ironic is that he indicated to me who he sponsored. And I still don't know how he did it. Okay, I don't know how he did it, but he happened to sponsor one guy. Okay, and it's true. One person can impact your business, but no one person can determine your business. Does that make sense? One person can impact your business, but no one person can determine your business. But he actually sponsored one guy that I know who is an industry leader, and all of a sudden, that one guy, you know, it became a landslide. Now, if he waited till now to become the leader, that group will absolutely outgrow him. He'll never have a chance to lead that group. He'll only have the opportunity to benefit from the income that comes from that group. Is everybody okay with that? And what that really means is that the leadership that is not present in him, if it's not there already, in his inability to lead the group, they will be easy to be led by someone else. Are you with me on that? That means that as easily as they came, without adequate leadership, is as easily as they will leave. And again, you know, it's something to be really conscious of. You know, so while thinking about this, I want to let you know how far back I went in my notes, because I wanted to see just where I was, okay? And I went back and I was taking some. Let me just see. I want to just flip through the pages to see. Yeah. The notes that I'm actually not going to govern everything I say by, but an outline is dated November of 2010. Okay. So as you guys know, I always encourage you to have one of these. Okay. And some of you remember this one. I'm going to show it to you. Some of you may know this one. Some of you don't. But this one is the one that I've been carrying for the greater part of 7 years. Okay, make sure. Okie dokie. That person calling me probably doesn't realize I'm on this mentorship call, though they should be on it too. But hey, let's see what happens. But if you understand where we're going with this, the point and the topic I'm really getting at is you got to be ready to be led. You got to be a leader. You've got to be ready to lead, become a leader. So the first thing and the first point, I'm going to give you guys a chance to write it down. I don't know. Elaine, I like when you take notes, and you sometimes like to write. So Elaine, why don't you go ahead and just type this for me, because I can't type and talk at the same time, okay? You got me? You got my back tonight? All right. So the first point in terms of becoming a better leader is think bigger than you've ever thought before, okay? So think bigger than before. So in order to become a great leader, you know, I've been talking about recently some of the posts that I've been putting out there on social media and really just showing the fact that leadership is also giving people vision, okay? So casting a vision. So for people to follow you, you've got to be able to see far enough, okay? You've got to be able to see far enough in advance, far enough ahead where they cannot see, but your vision has to be cast. You've got to be able to say, wait a minute. No matter what everybody's thinking about, they may be thinking about day to day, here and now. And I think a few weeks ago, I don't have that book handy, but a few weeks ago, I was talking about some excerpts from a book. This has to be about 3 weeks ago, where it talked about the difference between poor people and how they think day to day, and how middle-class people think week to week and month to month, and rich people think year to year, but very rich people think decades in advance. So there's a correlation in your vision. There's a correlation in how you begin to think. There's a correlation in how you align your thought process, where you put yourself in terms of what your vision is all about. Okay, so you've got to be able to start, looking beyond what is just right there in advance. And that's why I said to you, this gentleman talked about 14 years, and I couldn't help it. But when he said 14 years, I was thinking of that movie, 12 Years a Slave, because, there's something to be said about that time period that might have had him trapped in that thought process. But ask yourself a question, okay? And the question I'm going to ask you to ask yourself is, when you speak, do people see, and here's do they see a brochure as you speak, a brochure that has a bunch of words, or do they see a picture? Are you able to cast a vision and paint a picture? Now, I'll tell you this, it's very important, because years ago, I've always been very thought conscious of how to use words and how to place words. And I know there's some people here. I know we got some very good speakers and some folks that are articulate on the line. And again, you have to think about it. The difference between, are you able to use a bunch of words, and when you talk and you communicate with people, are you able to paint a picture? Are people saying, okay, well, where are we going? And what are we going to do? And here's how we're going to get there. That's really the power behind being able to think bigger, and part of it is your imagination. Okay. Now, some of you who were on our book club call, and I'm going to show another book, the MLM Blueprint, talked about how the imagination really is the foundation of what creates the subconscious mind. Okay, the imagination. And I want to stop there for a second, because I shared with somebody recently that if your imagination isn't pushing you and propelling you to get outside your comfort zone, okay, and that means that if you like to go into the shopping mall, okay, and ladies, let me go ahead and get the I want to get the broadest screen. I want to see all the ladies' faces. But if nothing wrong with the fellas, but I want to know if, when your thoughts about going shopping means that you pull up into that parking lot where it has Kmart and Target. Oh boy, somebody don't even know what I'm talking about, okay? But your experience in terms of, where you want to see yourself, your shopping experience is a Target moment, okay? Why all these heads shaking? I see all these heads. You see, because, I can't force you to jump in your vehicle and go out to that exclusive facility, the one where everything is just too pricey. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Anybody know one of those places? Anybody seen one of those places? There's a place that I remember when I was broke. I like to say it, broke. There's a place that I used to call this place, which I've grown to love this place. It's called Neiman Marcus. Anybody ever heard of Neiman Marcus? Just give me a thumbs up or a hand raise. Okay. I used to call that place Needless Markups. That was my reference point to this particular facility. Why would you go to this place in Needless Markups? But as I began to shift the paradigm of my thought process, let me get out of this view. I want to get out of this view because so many daggers are coming at me. But as I began to shift the thought process, I realized, no, you've got to go to those kind of places because number one, you will find a certain caliber of people there, and just the marketing people that work at these types of stores. You know, your Nordstroms, your Bloomies, your Ferragamos, I mean, you name it. These people think, and I'm going to throw another one in because some of y'all know I used to oftentimes go to a place. There's only one location in the United States, and now they no longer have that United States location. You have to literally go to Milan if you want to see and experience that type of shopping experience. But it wasn't just shopping, it was an experience, if you understand my point. Everyone understand what I'm saying? It was an experience when you went there. You didn't just go there to buy, you went for an experience. And as that experience took place, as that experience took place, all of a sudden you would start to realize, well, hey, this is something that I want to experience more often. So you get to begin thinking broader, thinking bigger, thinking, outside the box. And, that's where you'll be able to see people start saying, I get it, I wonder. But your vision, your ability to look outside of that comfort zone, and I really want to, really reside on that comfort zone situation, because you got to go outside of it, okay? And even if you start telling yourself, I'll do it once a month, if you get to a point where you now start feeling addicted and you want to do it once a week or once every couple of days, I find myself wanting to go to places just like it. So I have a long list of places that I go to like that. Don't get me wrong. I like to sit in the park as well. Okay. I like to go sit in the park. I love to go enjoy. I love playing golf. I love going to a golf course. Okay. Just to be around the fresh air. But then there's those other times I want to go in where when I walk in, I can feel the environment that is one of opulence and one of elegance and one of a higher level. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Can I get another look at the gallery here? That's the word I was looking for earlier. Can I get a look at the gallery and you understand what I'm talking about? You see, because if you don't put yourself in that experience, you will always stay within your comfort zone, and then you will not be able to cast even a greater vision for someone to say, yes, I would like to one day be there. I would like to one day be in that environment, or one day I'd like to see that. And yeah, I saw that come across. Matter of fact, that's going to just, I'm actually going to post an image that I've had waiting to post it. I'll probably post it after I do this call, but of Tiffany's. Tiffany's is, you understand, when you see the green box, you automatically know. You just know it's elegance, it's opulence, it's something that's, exquisite. But the second thing you want to do in order to become a better leader is you want to think about the success of other people. Think about the success of other people. You see, your thought process about others would develop other people for success, okay? Because when you focus on yourself, you can always have some success, but it will be short term, okay? It will be short term. But when you start thinking about others and the duplication, and I know we touched on this a few weeks ago, working in depth and developing people in depth is one of the things that I love to consider as a specialty that I learned from my mentor. But being able to drill down and find people through other people, and be able to help more people that are further away. But that second point of think about the success of other people. How can you get to your goal without helping? See, the world of network marketing, multi-level marketing, relationship marketing, call it whatever you want to call it. As you all know, I call it the greatest profession in the world. It's the greatest profession in the world. Why? Because I've seen so many people's lives changed and impacted because of this industry. But there's no way. See, if you only think about yourself, you only focus on yourself, then what you've got is a high-paid sales job. And there's nothing wrong with a high-paid sales job. Okay, a high-paid sales job is A-okay. But you will not ever get and take full advantage of the elements of the real experience of network marketing until you can help others, focus on the success of others, and then help them to focus on the success of others, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. When you understand it, not from a perspective of just like a gig or a job, you understand it from a profession standpoint. You are literally positioning yourself to be in the people helping business. Okay, you know, in reality of it, what I love about this industry, you get to choose who you work with, right? But when you find people that you know are of like minds and they want what you want, they are driven and motivated by the same things that drive and motivate you, that's when it can get really exciting. So, you know, a question you can ask: are you choosing people based on obvious strengths? Okay. Are you looking for their obvious strengths? Or, okay, it's going to get tricky here. It's going to get touchy. You know I have some nurturers around me, some nurturers. I've met a few that want to nurture, and I'm being polite. Come on. I'm trying to find some words here. Come on. Don't poke fun at me. I'm trying to get it out. But are you trying to save the world, okay? Or are you identifying the people you choose to work with, as I said, help others? You're trying to help others, those who don't want to help themselves. A few weeks ago, I think it was in the MLM Blueprint, it was in that one. It wasn't in Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. It was in the Blueprint, where it talked about how, you know, when you went out and tried to someone tried to show the plan, and they were showing the plan to somebody who, you know, you wanted it more for them than they wanted it for themselves. Anyone know that? Let's just see. Let me go back to the gallery. I'm just going back to the gallery because I'm not sure if anyone's going to be honest and truthful with me tonight. You know, I'll put my hand up because I have a great story of one of those times where I wanted it more for someone that than they wanted it for themselves. I had that experience, you know, and let me tell you something. I'm not a nurturer. I mean, look, I never birthed no baby, okay? I never birthed no baby. I just raised 4 of them. So that instinct, that's a maternal instinct, you know, of coddling and, you know, kind of, I sure wish I had a fella here who just kind of looked me in the eyes, so I know I got a fella here who got my back. But but what I'm saying to you is that I still had to worry about and be concerned about, am I wanting it more for someone else than they want it for themselves? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do I want it more for you than you want it for yourself? See, if you look at it, and I know it almost sounds contradictory. Let me go back to what the point is. Think about the success of other people, right? Isn't that what I said? Let me go back to what Elaine wrote. Where's Elaine? Elaine wrote, be in the people helping business. I like how you put it there, Elaine. Helping people, yes, okay? And, you know, it's absolutely something important to do. So you develop people, but they gotta want it. I'm not saying you go out there and find those people and it's like, okay, you know, such and such, they just need it. Oh my Lord, if I could just, let me stop right there. Go back to this view. I can look at myself. I can tune some of you out. I can do like this, and some of y'all I can't see all of a sudden. Because I know there are a lot of people who want to be, you know, if I could just help that person. No, they got to want to help themselves. They've got to want it as bad as you want it. How about I say it? If you can develop a success model of helping people who want it worse than you, I mean, they are more hungry than you are. They want more. Okay, they want more than you want. Okay, so there it is. But I had a situation 7 years ago where literally I had an opportunity. I was working with a couple, husband and wife, and you know, when they told me their goals, I became personally connected to their goals. But somewhere along the line, while I became personally connected to their goals, they became personally disconnected from their goals as time went on. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Anybody ever had that experience? But what happened is, here I was. guiding and assisting and coaching and mentoring and doing everything possible. And we had in my mind, we had a defined time frame for which something was going to happen. I can tell you, they were both school teachers, and it was my understanding that as we worked from May, when school let out, all the way through August, when time to go back to school, that instead of two of them going back to teaching school, only one of them would have to go, and we would be able to free the other. But as I watched through the summer and everything got in the way, and y'all know what I'm talking about. You know how it is when someone's goals are disconnected, or they're disconnected from their pursuing their goals. Well, they were not on the same page as me. They were not on the same page as me, and I think it got to the point where someone, I don't know if it was the husband or the wife, some one of them called me and just talking about some things, and I must have just let him have it. I know it was him. I didn't do it to her, but I let him have it because we were trying to free her. And I remember because they caught me in church. Yes, they were my church friends, and they caught me in church, and the two of them came and sat me down, and they said, "Brother, we want to talk to you." And when I was ready, hoping and expecting, after I let him have it, that he was going to apologize for his lack of commitment and his lack of consistency and his lack of performance. Stop laughing. His lack of, following through, his lack of everything that we had established. And I'm ready. I'm sitting down, ready. And basically, I was in for a rude awakening that day. And I said, but why are you guys upset? I mean, we had this plan. And then they looked at each other with this, loving, affectionate look with each other. And then they looked at me and they said, "No, that wasn't our plan. That was your plan." Do yourself a favor. I think that was the last time I ever did that. And I think that was 2010. See, I'm not going to make it more important for me. Some people don't understand it, but I can't make it more important to me than it is to you. You have got to show it. So when you look at people, make sure that they are those type of people. They you know what? Here's something interesting. A very wealthy gentleman recently shared this with me. He says, "I only do business with people who are at least as rich as me. They have as much as I have or more. I'm not doing business with someone who is lesser." I'm like, wow, okay, great. Well, I was happy because I was sitting in the room. So they didn't send the hook and pull me out the room. So I'm like, okay, good. I'm in good standings. Okay. But understand something. You've got to establish certain criteria for people, and you can look at certain criteria. But developing leaders, okay, you want to make sure that you're developing people who want to be developed, and they are hungry and searching for what it is that they want, and it's in alignment. So the third thing is you've got to think better and consistently think about improvement. You've got to think better and consistently think about improvement. I'm reminded of the message this morning as I was fortunate to attend my church, local church here, where I didn't even get a chance to see the pastor because it was some women's celebration. But the woman preacher that came, she hit a nerve, and after service, I told her how much it impacted me, and she says, "Wow, you mean my message even affected the brethren?" I said, "Yes, it did." I said, people, the message was so on point that it really didn't matter. But I want to paraphrase to an extent by letting you know, don't bother asking God for your load to be lighter. Don't ask for that, okay? Because we also know in the book it says that he will not put more on you than you can bear. But the fact of it is, don't go ahead and ask. Go ahead and say thank you. say thank you for the load being just a little bit heavy, okay? But ask for strength. Ask for strength. Ask for a stronger back. Ask for bigger muscles. Ask for broader shoulders. Ask for whatever it takes to rise up beyond it. And for those of you who like to do a little research, it was in 2 Samuel chapter 4, and talking about the restoration, that restoration can come all the way to chapter 9, and the hurt and the harm that was recognized. And some people are dwelling in it because, your load is hard, your load is heavy, your situation. Hey guys, can I just tell y'all something? Everybody's got a situation. Okay? All right. Let me go to the gallery one more time, okay? So make it easy for you. Just look at the box to your left, okay? Just look at the box to your left. The person in the box to your left. Sorry, Danella, you're all the way to the end. That's why you can't see anybody. But the person in the box to the left or to the right, their load is heavy too. It might be a different kind of heavy, if you understand what I'm saying, okay? It's just so amazing. As you go through different parts of the world, you'll realize that someone who can't survive on $10,000 a month here in the United States, you realize that there's someone somewhere else who doesn't have $10,000 a year, if you understand what I'm saying. So the load is the load is the load. You just have to ask for a stronger back. But recognize you've got to think better consistently, constantly, worrying and focusing on improvement. And the fourth is, you've got to think in greater detail. Now this one could be a challenge. This one could be a challenge because if you've never been a detailed thinker, if you've never been one who was primed and programmed and conditioned to think in greater detail, well, now you've got an opportunity area. You see, I never said that each of these points, these 10 points that I'm going to outline, never said that they were going to be easy. Never said that you were going to be even remotely perfected I never said you were going to be perfected in even half of them. But you see, I shared with you that these notes, and I deliberately told you that these notes were taken back in 2010, November 2010. And I could have gone through this at the end of this particular teaching, and I could have told you where my particular underperformance, my inadequacies were, okay, because there were plenty of them. But see, just like it says here, constantly thinking about improvement. See, because if you're looking at it and you're constantly thinking about improvement, you know that there's something called hope, faith, all that other good stuff. And we talked about that yesterday, faith, hope, all that connected. Faith is a substance, things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. You got to be looking forward. You got to be striving. And just because you jacked up right now, it's okay. Remember that box to the left? They jacked up too. You just don't know they jacked up in this. Did I just make that word up? Let me say it again. You just don't know they're jacked up in this, but trust me, it's there, okay? I just created that word, okay? Because even in the book that we were reading the scripture today, I was listening as the preacher was talking and bringing forth the sermon, and it just hit me. I'm like, of course we all got some jacked up in this, because there was a dilemma between David and Saul, and some issues that had been going on, and when I listened to it, I'm like, boy, that's jacked up. But yet, look who they are. Look what their legacies became. Okay, I'm gonna jump off that for a second. But thinking in greater detail, you may not be one to do that right now. You may not be a forensic accountant. You may not do spreadsheets for every situation. You may not do analytics for that. You may not do that today. But in order to really govern and guide your business, okay, when you have 100 people following you, and then you have 1,000 people following you, then you have 10,000 people following you, then you have tens of thousands of people following you. See, wait a minute. You see, I should have said this from the outset. Everyone that's in attendance here, I just want you to know you already have tens of thousands of people following you in your imagination. You just have to allow it now to manifest itself. Does that make sense to you? Okay, let me go ahead and look at the gallery. You have to allow it to manifest itself. See, some of y'all ain't even excited. I just told you something, you know, and look at you. So I see a couple of people. Are you nodding? Are you asleep over there? Let me tap the screen. Let me tap the screen. Wake you up over there. I just told you, okay? And if this was a prophetic type of situation where I just said to you that everyone who's assembled here is already, in your imagination, leading tens of thousands of people. Okay, so 3 of y'all got excited. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me get away from this gallery because it's depressing me. I'm going to go back and look at me. You see, because I remember when my mentor told me that it was about to happen. It was just a matter of time, but it was about to happen. And then I saw it start to manifest itself. You see, it started in the imagination. But anyway, you got to think. Thank you, Elaine, for taking such great notes. Okay, thank you so much. But greater detail. You got to think in greater detail. Because when you get to the point of having tens of thousands of people, you're going to need to be able to do that. So just because you don't do it today doesn't mean that you don't develop yourself. Number five, think in the future. Small-minded people talk about people. Medium-minded people talk about things. Great leaders talk about concepts. Y'all like that? I had that underlined here. I had to share that with you. So what am I saying? When you really listen and for fear that that person might one day listen or watch this particular ZOOMcast playback, I'll abstain for number 4 is think in greater detail. Think in greater detail is number 4. I'll abstain from going into a direct reference as to when, but I recently uncovered someone close to me who has a habit of talking about people. They love to talk about people. Now, you know that's almost kind of the essence of Facebook, right? People always Facebook. What is that all about? That's social media when you're so dwelling. You see, you're right. Small-minded people talk about people. No. Let me give you small-minded people talk about people. Medium-minded people. Okay? Medium-minded people talk about things. Great people, great leaders talk about concepts. Concepts. I don't have it. Maybe I do have it on this. No, I just took it off. But, you know, you realize that people like Richard Branson, every year he does a once a year event where he brings together some of the greatest thought leaders so that they can spend days and days and days together on his island, Necker Island. And all they do is talk about concepts. Do y'all see what I'm talking about? Do you get it? It's about being able to understand that great leaders are focused on concepts, conceptualizing what could be, you know, what really could happen, you know, that what if scenario. Now, you know, there's a difference, and I think I want to take a moment there and talk about the difference between the what if scenario and asking those type of questions and asking, you know, those why questions, which is basically saying, why do I have to do this? And why should I do this? And why should I do this? Those are different types of questioning. Does that make sense to you guys? Everybody with me on that? There's a different kind of why. When the thought leaders are thinking about concepts, it's a, you know, what if, you know, what if we can make things happen this way while it's always been done this way? Does that make sense to you? What if we could get something to happen so much faster than it used to happen? What if we could have the same type of conference connection, whether I'm here in Atlanta or I'm over in Asia, and we're still seeing me as if I'm right here in your living room. What if? You see, someone had to think about that. That 10 years ago, we didn't have that going on. Is everybody with me? See, that's what thought leaders are focusing on, concepts. Number 6 is you have to think multidimensional. You have to think outside. First of all, outside the box. How many of y'all are questioning that one? Think multidimensional. Let me give you the reality behind that one is you've got to be able to think and see things. Remember we just talked about thought leaders are thinking about concepts, but we just said you got to think multidimensional. Thoughts can create domino effects because if you look at all the different facets of a thought, okay, look at every angle. You see, the interesting thing is that's what a forensic accountant is trained to do. Investigators. I just came by my favorite golf range, okay? And I mean, I've been gone for so long, but I just went there, and as I drove up, I'm looking at the clubhouse, and it's burnt down. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. What the heck happened? I mean, I'm looking at it because obviously there's wreckage, obviously there's construction, but you know, I was able to find out from someone that about a week and a half ago there was a fire, and the fire is still being investigated. See, the multi-dimensional thought process comes into being able to take something that already is or was or now gone and be able to either piece it back together or understand how something happens. You see where I'm coming from? Not just looking from a linear standpoint. See, the linear standpoint is you think about only what you see. You think about only what is obvious. You think about only what is presented to you, but you may not be thinking from all the angles, from all the different variables, the aspects, up, down, left, right, inside, outside. How does it work from the outside in? How does it work from the inside out? Because you will encounter with the different types of personality. Well, I'll just use that. The different types of personalities, multidimensional, you will have to think that way. I remember getting started in this a particular journey with one real very definitive thought process. I thought like a red. And if you don't know what the colors, you know, some people use animals, but let's use red, for example. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still a red, okay? I'm still a red. I am still assertive. I am still hard charging. I'm still, you know, driven. I'm still, you know, results oriented. I'm still, you know, I'm still that guy. Okay. I'm still that guy. But I was only that guy, which meant, and if you understand what that means, and this is something good. Let me go into the gallery. I'm going to go to the gallery real quick. Okay. I'm going to the gallery so that I can help you kind of understand how important it is. It's okay to be a red. Some people want to be a red, but they're not a red. But let me help you. You are a red, but your red may be dormant. You see, the same way I can tell you, I didn't know that I was a green. I knew kind of I was a green because I was trained from an analytical standpoint. So I knew I had it. But I already had already discounted that I was a blue and that I was a yellow. Now, let me help you. Yes, I'm a yellow. Yes, I'm a yellow. Yes, I'm a blue too. Yes, I'm a blue. So, yes, I'm a blue. Yes, I'm a yellow. I see somebody moving their hands. I'm not sure if they're trying to contradict me or not. I'm just saying, yes, I'm a yellow. Yes, I'm a blue. Yes, I'm a yellow. Yes, I'm a yellow. Yes, I'm a blue. I'm all of them. I'm all, because we all are. You see, the interesting thing is the assertive, which is the red, the analytical, which is the green, the entertainer, the party animal, the person who just loves to have fun, almost like the absent-minded professor who's the blue, and then the one who wants to save the world, we are the world, kumbaya, can everybody just get along, is the yellow, okay? And here's the good and the bad of it. See, we're all of those wrapped up inside of one. I didn't know because I was just, red, here we go, you know. Got my cape, got my sword, got my shield, ready for battle. All you yellows and blues, stand behind me. I got this. Yellows in the back say, please, can we get along? And I'm like, get behind me, I'll take care of this. That's until I realized you can embrace your inner yellow. I don't know why some of you are laughing so much. I get out this view again. I can't look at some of you. And Elaine, help me. I want to stay focused, Elaine. Help me. Let me get back on track. But that inner, thank you, that inner side helping us to make sure that we're focused on who we are, that multi-dimensional side, which takes us right into number 7, which is the bottom line. So if you're a yellow, you got to act like a red. You see what I'm saying? It's in there. You've got to become, you've got to morph, you've got to transform. You can't say, I'm only a yellow, I will stay only worrying about how everyone else feels and I'll coddle the world. And you can't be the party animal and say, listen, who cares about anything, man? Let's just get the party started. You can't be the green and say, wait a minute, hold up here. We haven't calculated exactly if we have enough time to have a real party, because there's just what's over. Yeah, and the red is like, hey, look, y'all have fun. Let me know when y'all done, because I'm working, okay? You've got to be able to work on all of these parts. You got to be able to have all of that so that you can move into number 7, which is you have got to think about bottom line results. Guys, look, at the end of the day, results matter. Numbers matter. You've got to be able to say, hey, is this thing going to happen? Okay, here's how we get there. We got to be able to see things, put it in action, and make sure that the results are there. Quantifiable results are absolutely important. Now here, so you know, I've been kind of poking fun at the yellows. I'm a yellow. Let me just let you know, my inner yellow is absolutely there. Anyone who's seen me with my kids, anyone who's seen me with my, you know, around my daughters, you just know for real. Hey, listen, I mean, that's where my yellow gets to shine. Okay, that's where my yellow gets to shine. Okay, and there's some other areas too, which I, you know, I'm not going to necessarily divulge. My external red will prevent my inner yellow from letting y'all know what it is. But but the next one I'm going to poke at the greens, because number 8 is you got to think quickly. You got to think quickly. You've got to be able to avoid thinking so slowly that you might miss opportunities. Does that make sense to you? You see, that's the challenge of, unfortunately, about being a green at times, is that you may think so deliberately and have to, you know, dot every I, cross every T, that you might have missed that window. And I just have to say the window, because it's not that you'll miss the opportunity, if you understand my point, because there are so many cases where the opportunity is still there, but you might have missed the window that distinguishes from greatness to just adequate performance. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, that's what I'm getting at. You got to be able to think quickly to be able to strike while the iron's hot and make sure that you can perform and reach, you know, that point. So number 8, Elaine, is think quickly. The slow thoughts will result in missed opportunities. You can also put as the window of opportunity, missed window of opportunity. Number 9, as we wind down, number 9, you've got to place your people on a personal growth plan with room to stretch. The reality here is you've got to be thinking about the plan, not only of what you have seen happen, but what they need to see happen that'll stretch them. No pain, no gain, right? No pain, no gain. You've got to be able to stretch. Okay, stretch. Opportunity. Those people have to grow. Okay, let me give you a better example. They have got to go. Okay, they have got to grow, I should say. They've got to grow, because if you stay, you know, it's so funny, I had a conversation with someone about this today. There are some types of family businesses. You know, one of the issues with a mom and pop business, you all know the main issue with a mom and pop business is that because mom and pop touch everything, they're so entrenched in everything that people can't grow, and thus it stifles the growth of the company. Does that make sense to you? Everyone with me? Even when a company gets even beyond that classification of mom and pop, but if the mindset and the leadership style is one where they still kind of, the top leader has his hands in everything, it's still a mom and pop mentality, and it stifles the growth of the people. So now when you're thinking about it in a traditional business, it's easy to see it, but it happens also in the world of MLM. It happens there where, okay, because you're the best presenter, watch this, because you're the best presenter. I still remember a situation where, had a leader. He was the best presenter, man. Every time his meeting started, he was the sharpest. He was the cleanest looking. He was the most articulate. He just knew how to phrase it. He had the jokes down pat. He had everything. The room was just in a absolute, buzz when he got up there. But you know why his business went backwards? Because none of his people could replicate what he did. Does that make sense? Until you are growing, challenging, stretching them, putting people to task. Okay? Some of you know I've on the same platform we've talked about that 30-second elevator pitch. Go ahead and put an inbox message. I know some of you, when you come on this particular platform, I'm going to make sure to look at the whole gallery. Some of you, when you're on this particular platform, you absolutely hide your keyboard so you don't have to type anything. That's why I'm so glad that Elaine is here with me tonight. Where's Elaine? Oh, there she is, upper left corner. Hi, there she is. Thank you. Because none of y'all are typing. None of y'all are typing. None of y'all are talking to me. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Elaine is doing it. But watch this. The question is, do you have your 30-second elevator pitch? And if I were to unmute you right now, would it be compelling? Would it be attractive? Would it be something that would garner someone's attention, that they'd be like, I want to know more? Because the purpose of that 30-second elevator pitch is to be able to get that connection with somebody. Yes or yes? Thank you. I'll see. I'm looking at everybody right now. Some of y'all may be mistaken and think I'm not looking at it. I'm looking at all of you. Hello, I'm looking at all of you. See, yes, the purpose of the 30-second elevator pitch. So if you haven't perfected it, no, hold on a second, Elaine. That's not number 10. I'm still in the stretching people in number 9. Okay, putting them on a path. And part of the path is to ensure that your 30-second elevator pitch is intact. Your 5-minute testimonial is intact. You can present your business in 30 minutes or such. That is intact. And last, but definitely not least, you can go ahead and do a training for an hour. So obviously we can't retract that message there. But my point to you is, can you do that? Have you developed yourself? And there it is, your 30-second elevator pitch. Do you have it down pat? Are you able to give a 5-minute testimonial about what your business means and what it's done and how it's been for you, the impact it's had, whether it's economical impact or meaning it's a financial impact, it's a physical impact, meaning something has happened to you because of your business, or any emotional, philosophical, emotional kind of impact. You've got to be able to tell some sort of testimonial, because missing these things is a critical element that will keep you from growing. So if your people are not developing these things, and you know who is and who isn't, okay, then you know how to put them on a plan to grow themselves. So that was something, that plan. Does everyone remember? Just show of hands before I go back to Matthew. Does everyone remember we talked about that on this platform at some point in time in the past? Oh, okay. Those of you who weren't, okay, you missed that one. Oh, okay. It's in the archives. 30-second elevator pitch. It's a must. 5-minute testimonial. You got to be able to do it. 30-minute presentation. You've got to be able to present your business in 30 minutes. And then you've got to be able in an hour to train people. Because if not, That means you are dependent on someone else to do the heavy lifting for you. So if you're dependent on someone else to do the heavy lifting for you, then where is your leadership? Does that make sense? You see, that person won't always be there. So people that come in behind you, when you have 10,000 people, there's going to be people depending on you to do this. And that's the key. So you've got to be prepared. Remember I said, be prepared long in advance. But last and not least, number 10 is learn from those that we lead. Learn. Now, this is an interesting one, okay? This is an interesting one. Just because you may have a higher rank or a higher pin doesn't mean you're the sharper one. Okay, I'm not trying to offend anyone, but what I'm saying to you is that the person who may have the higher rank, the higher pin level, may even have the higher check, may not be the sharpest person. That there are people that are in the mode of following that leader that might be able to bring value. And if you're that leader, you should be looking for it. And I'll just give a distinction. There are several categories of leaders, and usually the charismatic leader don't want to hear about anything other than what they have to say, because it's their leadership style is based on charisma. Okay, but it's not the only way to lead people. But you also have your people development leader, which that person is really interested in watching others grow and to be able to hear from them. You know what's interesting, and I got to share this with you. It is absolutely, I look back through, it's important to me because I look back through messages and notes and comments from people all through the week as I'm trying to determine what I'm going to really drive as the message for this particular platform. Because I want it to be what it is that you need, because guess what? I do know on a blanket, broader, on a macro level, what is needed for the growth in this industry. But guess what? Can I tell you a secret? That only you know what's needed on a micro level. Only you know what's needed on a micro level. And without that exchange, that feedback, the leader, the coach, the mentor, the counselor, the guide, the Sherpa cannot effectively get you to your destination. They may have a broad sense of what is needed, but you could take the guesswork out of it. And that's why it said, when you look for a mentor and a mentor relationship where trust is paramount, trust is established, because yes, you will have to bear some of your dirty laundry. And really, just so you know, and yes, I'm looking at the gallery right now because I want to see how many of y'all really are courageous enough to make eye contact with me as I'm speaking this. I ain't afraid to look at you when I say this, because the truth of it is, let me help you understand something. It's more of a confirmation. You see, you may think you're bearing your dirty laundry. You may think you're bearing your soul. You may think you're divulging, certain things, but you know what you're really doing? If you've got a good enough mentor, coach, leader, guide, Sherpa, counselor, if you've got a good one, all you're doing is confirming which one of the issues that they already knew was that was in their mind. Does everyone get that? Can I get a head nod on that one? Can I get a head nod from somebody? I know it was the case, and I know my mentor said to me one time, and I was open and honest about something, and I said, XYZ, ABC, and he came back and he said, so I said, man, you knew about that? I said, you actually knew? And he looked me straight in the face and said, Would you actually be here if I didn't know those type of things? Yes, you're right. But there has to be, without a shadow of a doubt, there has to be a trust relationship. The trust relationship has to be intact. Trust. Because without the trust, you will still be trying to hold some of your information close to your vest. A lot of good that's going to do you. You see, because the mentor already knows. But a good mentor won't provoke you and or antagonize you by coming and putting their feet in your chest. A good mentor will not do that. And I know this is back to where the preacher talked about that there have been people who have created those trust relationships. Again, go look it up yourself, 2 Samuel chapter 4, okay, where someone was put in the hands of someone who they were trusted, that there was a trust relationship, and that person ended up in a catastrophic result because that person who was trusted, the responsibility was given, failed to protect. So yeah, I know it's challenging when it's talked about like that, trust, but you've got to be prepared. I know because I did it and it was uncomfortable. But let me just say this, because I think women are probably more apt to. Okay. Women are more apt to opening up than men are. So you have an advantage. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? See, sometimes the male ego won't allow them to let their guard down and verbally or openly show their, trust, that type of relationship. It doesn't happen too often. So ladies, you're in a real good position to really be on top of things, to get yourselves mentored and really, put yourself in a place where you can get where you need to go. Okay. Learn from the people around you, but definitely learn from the people that you're leading. I'm thankful to each and every one of you. And I was going to say this, don't get mad at me, but sometimes I learned. My mentor taught me, but he knew that he could say this to me. My mentor taught me, he says, you can learn a lot from the people you're leading, including things you don't want to ever do. I'm waiting to see the reaction of some of you. So you can learn a lot, but the key is you got to make sure those 10 points, hopefully you got something out of it tonight. Become a better leader. Don't wait until you've got tens of thousands of people and you're standing and you don't know what to do, because it can happen in the blink of an eye. As I said earlier, it can happen with one person, okay? But no one person should dictate where your business goes. But one person can impact where your business goes. All right? So guys, it's been a pleasure, absolute pleasure, always. Some of you are smiling, some of you aren't smiling, some of you won't smile no matter what I say. It's okay. I smile for you. I will smile for you, but knowing fully well that I'll be back at this same time, at this same location. Don't know exactly what part of the world I'll be in, but I'll be here. Hopefully you'll be here too. Thanks so much. Hey, wait. Before you sign off, let's all put our hands together. A round of applause for Elaine. Hey, Elaine, I owe you, okay? But really, I know money talks, okay? But they really owe you because I already got my notes. I already had it written. Thanks, guys. Have a great day, great week. All right, be blessed as always. Take care. And you know where I'll see you? At the top, at the bottom. way too crowded.